Yep, no, I'm on it. I get it's important. Now the meeting is at 9, so he'll have it by 8. No, I canceled family dinner. It'll be ready. All right, bye. This is me doing important things. Things that matter.
Okay, let's do this.
Things that are worth it. Things that at the end of my life, I will be proud of. Yeah, I'm almost done. What do you mean? Who am I kidding? The project is scrapped. I've been working on it for a month. Yeah, all right. You too. Have a good night. Over the years, one question in particular has been nagging me more and more until I couldn't ignore it any longer and had to ask myself, what's the point? I'm 37 years old. I have a good job, a private office and a reserved parking spot. And today, I've quit. From now on, life is going to be great. No more wasting time on a commute, no more useless tasks that nobody cares about, and much better coffee all day long. Today is my first day in freedom, and we're going to go travel for an entire year. It's going to be awesome.
Did you hear about the closed borders? There's a pandemic on.
A what? So the traveling didn't happen. On literally the first day I was free to do whatever I wanted, I couldn't do anything because the first lockdown was put in place. And we spent a couple of weeks watching Netflix instead. That's cool for about a day and a half, and then it starts getting really old. So at some point I had to get up on my feet and decide what to do next. Did I want to go back to my job? Not really. So what else could I do? I didn't know anything. I was an office drone. I knew Excel sheets, PowerPoint presentations, meetings, office politics. How do you apply that in the real world? But the more important question wasn't what I could do, it's what I really wanted to do with my life. And even if I couldn't put my finger on it, in broad terms, I'd known for years. Einstein supposedly said insanity is doing the same things all over again and expecting different results. And yet that's what we are all taught to do. Just work a little harder at the job you hate and it'll all work out. But many people feel like it's not working out for them. I know I felt that way for a long time. I got up as late as possible, I sped to work because I hated wasting time on the commute, parked in my private parking spot, went up to my office, closed the door behind me and hoped that nobody would bother me. I hadn't always felt that way. I used to believe in what I did and I worked hard. But slowly, step by step, corporate life chipped away at my enthusiasm until there was nothing left. There wasn't any one thing. But over the years, it added up. The stress, the fighting with people who didn't want to move forward, the lack of flexibility as to work times and workplace, management decisions that I had to defend even though I didn't believe in them myself. Oh, and I missed traveling. Years ago, we took a road trip through Greece in our first camper van. It was great. The trip took us 3 weeks, and by the end of it, I would have used up 60% of my yearly travel allowance. I would go back to 47 weeks of unhappiness. Something about that ratio is off. And most of all, what got to me was the feeling that I was wasting my time on Earth, doing things that didn't change anyone's life for the better, that didn't mean anything. And our time is limited. When my dad passed away way too early with a sickness that all our technology and modern medicine couldn't diagnose, let alone treat, I flipped a switch. A couple of weeks later, I handed in my notice. Even if I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, wasting my life just because I didn't know what else to do couldn't be the solution. Of course, I asked myself, can you still do this at 37? What about bills? What about responsibilities? Isn't a wild trip into the unknown something for 20-year-olds? Can you still reinvent yourself at 37, go do something completely different? Or should you just stick to what you know? Safety first? Fuck safety. Sometimes you just gotta challenge yourself! There was a lot of uncertainty though. How long was this going to go on for? How long would I be stuck in the house? Was the economy going to crash? What was I going to live off after my savings were gone? But the hardest part, deciding to quit, was already behind me. Now, all that remained was working out the rest. That couldn't be so hard. Well, it wasn't easy either. I had been doing a couple of things besides my job in an attempt to find a little bit more creativity in my life. I had become a photographer, I was running a blog, so now I decided to go all in and make that my business. I also started a YouTube channel. That brought me into videography, which I really enjoyed. A year later, I even had my first client productions. There was a lot of learning involved. When I wasn't working, I was studying new things. My wife thought I was overdoing it when after a full workday and dinner, I went right back to it. I just loved it that much. I couldn't stop. When COVID restrictions started to be lifted, we actually went traveling. Cruising through Europe for 4 continuous months wouldn't have been possible in a normal job. And I was happy. But I was also living off my savings. Previously I used to have a comfortable amount of money, but almost no time to spend that money on what I liked, traveling. Now the situation had almost been reversed. I had all the time in the world to do what I wanted, but a very small amount of money to do it with. While we had to set our sights a little bit lower, I discovered that without the unhappiness of a normal job, I didn't need as much money, because I didn't need to compensate for my unhappiness by buying more stuff. I spent less gas on commuting, less on fancy clothes, and I had more time to cook, so we were eating healthier and at the same time spent less money on food. Oh, and fun fact, cutting your own hair also saves money. And over time, we started to make money. Not in comfortable amounts yet, and not steadily. And yet, if you've done it once, you know you can do it again. 2 years later, I'm 39 years old. Was it all one big mistake? Do I regret quitting my job? Did I reinvent myself, or did I just foolishly give up a good thing? And is this story going to end by me going back to a real job? As long as there are a couple bucks left in the bank account, I will keep trying to make this work. Because overall, my life is just so much better than it used to be. I used to be in a bad mood almost every day. I used to hate getting up. My chronotype is that of a night owl. It's estimated that more than half of the population in industrialized nations is continuously forced to go against their biological clock. And so I used to be sick a lot. In the past 2 years, I haven't been sick once. I also don't need to hope anymore that the weather will still be fine in the evening so that I can go for a bike ride. Now I just go in a work break, and afterwards, that even makes me more productive. And I just love what I'm doing. Writing, creating pictures and videos is just so much more rewarding than creating PowerPoint slides and Excel sheets. My work doesn't even feel like work most of the time. Okay, until it's time for the monthly accounting. Taxes. I like those days a little bit less. My new colleagues are quite nice as well. And have you seen my office? A large part of the year, I work from the camper van at some of the most beautiful spots in Europe. I even get to go windsurfing during breaks. I'd love to be able to say that it has all worked out, that I'm financially secure and I'm just doing what I love every day. It's not quite that easy though. Not yet, anyway. It's a struggle, it's a grind, and honestly, I don't know if I'll still be doing this in 5 years. Making dreams come true starts with leaving your comfort zone, and that's a difficult thing to do. It requires trusting yourself to be able to make it work no matter what, even when life throws a pandemic at you. It's not easy, and there are no guarantees, but even the guaranteed safety of a job is an illusion. I'd rather take the uncertainty where I'm in control over the perceived safety where others decide about my future and happiness. If there's one thing the pandemic has taught me, it's that we can't rely on anything. We can't be sure our world will still be the same tomorrow. We don't know if the opportunities we don't dare take today will still be here tomorrow. And we don't know how much time we even have. I'm doing what I'd been dreaming about for a decade. I can work from anywhere, with certain COVID restrictions, yes, but anyway, it's almost as I'd imagined it. So for me, the choice is clear. Forward, out of the comfort zone, step by step. And then I'll see how far I'll go and where I end up. Even if I don't succeed in the long run, I know that at the end of my life, I won't regret my failures as much as the opportunities missed and as much as I would regret having stayed in the comfort zone. And so, I have to try.